I'll get my phone
Kia ora,
out.
kia ora. E aku nui aku rahi tēnā rā tātou katoa. So yes, so Miles and I are a two-legged tripod I te rangi nei. So sadly our other leg, Donna, as was said, is very ill today. And so just want to send our aroha to Donna at this time. And if we buckle, you know why, because the main leg's not present today. I usually give her all the hard questions too, so hopefully we don't have any time for questions at the end. Hoi anō. Yes, so is this the clicker? There we go. Kia ora. So got a whole 14 minutes to talk about our whānau Financial Wellbeing program that is called Te Rito Hou. And as you can see, it's a kaupapa that comes under the Sorted brand. And so, ko wai mātou, who are we? We are this fabulous trio. So Tāwhia, so those of you who don't know Tāwhia, so yes, I'm at ASB, but I also sit on Tāwhia. Tāwhia is a Māori Bankers Rōpū, or sort of a Māori Bankers Association. It's a collaborative kaupapa between some of the key banks, including ANZ, ASB, BNZ, Westpac, Kiwi Bank and TSB at this time. And then we also have the Reserve Bank, Te Pūtea Matua, as an observer, and of course Miles from Te Rangapūpeke New Zealand Banking Foundation are supporting us as well. And so Tāwhia, we have three pillars, three kaupapa, three focus areas. One is improving access to capital for Māori to grow the Māori economy. Two is increasing Māori representation within the banking and finance sector. And then three is building the financial capability of our whānau. And so this kaupapa sits within that particular pou. He hata mātou mahi, so what did we get up to? So we were very fortunate that Te Rahunga Ora had this whānau program called Te Rito Hou at the time when we were looking to discover what we were going to do in this space in terms of building financial capability for Māori. And so we took this kaupapa and added a banking component to it. And basically it's a very Māori approach to financial literacy or financial well-being. It's done in a wānanga setting, so underpinned by values such as whanaungatanga and manaakitanga. And yes, we've added a banking component to that. And so the kaupapa or the program is the full day wānanga, and it covers off all the sort of the key basics around financial literacy with an added component around banking. And so the banking side covers everyday banking, borrowing from a bank, and then a little bit what was touched on, the scams and frauds piece. And so we have our local Māori bankers attend the wānanga for the day, and also get them to talk about or run a session with our whānau around those particular topics. And so the three regions we covered for this pilot kaupapa were these, Te Tairāwhiti, Gizzy, Blenheim and Christchurch. I just want to mihi, I just see Midge in the audience. So Midge is our project manager that did a lot of the mahi. Should be up here as well, actually, to be fair. But tēnā koe, Midge. So now I'm going to hand over to Miles, who's going to talk about our learnings.
Thanks, kia ora Tawa. A lot of work went into this, into the development of this. Obviously, there was the basis from what we had from the Commission, and then we built it with the Commission's help substantially in terms of adding that banking element to it. And just what did we learn? So this is, I believe this is the one in Tairāwhiti. And that's just the group sort of all together. It was obviously it's busy stuff. There's a lot of stand-up time, a lot of sit-down time, a lot of group breakouts. The key success factors that we found it really was about having local Māori bankers participating. It is interesting that I think it meant a lot to people to see the experts in the field and to have them local and to have the Māori, the whole by Māori, for Māori, and bankers teaching banking. It created a real safe space for whānau to share their stories. There was a lot of talk about their own financial wellbeing journeys, and people really opened up, which is really great to see. We did, as Tawa said, we had a dedicated project manager, Midge Takani. Having her financial wellbeing background was really important, and she also just came along and was a facilitator as well, which was fantastic and extremely helpful. And then there was the collaborative approach between Tāwhia, NZBA, and the Commission. And I know, Jane, this was supposed to be tasked to NZBA alone to do the work, and I think a few times initially Jane was a bit worried that the Commission was being dragged into it. But I think your team, they were the experts, and I think they really supported the work. They really liked it. They thought it was interesting. And like Erwin and Anna, and especially Donna, were really fantastic. And thanks for loaning them to us, I guess. So from the banking module, I guess the key findings really were the presence of Māori banking staff was unique. I think we all saw something, especially in the first couple. It just sparked it when you saw the participants really listened to, if they wanted to get a loan, they were listening to the person who would probably give them that loan. So they knew what they needed to ask, what they needed to provide, what process would be. It really, really showed something that really sparked some interest from them. And what that did show was through the course of the participants' feedback, it showed more trust in banks, which was an important element of this work, and a greater understanding of the banking system. The other element which was really great was that the banking staff themselves found it really valuable. They found it really interesting. And I think if we were to do more of this in the future, I don't think you'd have any issues with being able to rustle up local Māori bankers to participate. Add some more images there. So what's next? Well, we can't tell you exactly. So the main process for this, obviously this was the main work initially was for the year with between the partnership between the Commission and NZBA. But of course this is the key po, one of the three key po for Tāwhia. And NZBA's role is essentially to support Tāwhia in achieving those po. So what we're looking to do is have a sort of Tawa, myself and Donna will be involved in essentially presenting a plan to the next Tāwhia Hui in June. And that's going to do a couple of things. So the first is adapting the program that we did with using the lessons that we've learnt. That'll probably do a couple of things. The second session will probably be almost solely banking focused. You'll have most of the financial wellbeing work put in the front loaded into section 1, then mainly banking focused in section 2. And we'll probably try to have the bankers there the whole day, sitting in and amongst the participants, because especially it was really magical in the one that we did in Christchurch, where we just had bankers scattered amongst the crowd, and they sort of piped up, and it was quite fluid and quite sort of spontaneous. And I think that really helped build those connections, because the banker was sitting next to them, and then they were going to tell them a bit more about what they needed to do to get a loan. And then obviously once that's done, then we'll look to roll out to some more regions over the next year. But as I say, that's sort of to the discretion of Tāwhia if they decide that this is the program that they think will be the key way to support their central po. Oh, nearly lunch. So yeah, that's us. Anything else you wanted to? There we go.
We've got time for a couple of questions if you would like to take them. Is that good? Round of applause, please, for Miles and Tawa. And the first question is that research has shown that Māori get even more out of these types of programs than others do. Is this what you're seeing as well?
Kia ora. Yes, so to be fair, it is it has proven quite difficult to get a lot of our people in the room to be a part of the program. That is one of the struggles that we're having, sadly. So even though there's, as we know, massive demand for financial literacy, actually getting whānau in the room is quite a bit of a hurdle for us. But when we do get them in the room, it does have a significant impact on them. They come, I'm not sure what sort of expectations they come with, but when they leave, they're just, there's quite an enlightenment. Ka puta ki te ao marama when they do go through the program. And we do tailor it, so it is very much a by Māori, for Māori approach. It's very Māori-centric, so we do a lot of whanaungatanga. We create a very safe and inviting space for whānau to want to engage and feel safe that they can open up about their circumstances. For Māori in particular, there is a bit of whakamā or tapu that's placed on money conversation, so it's very much not your typical conversation within the whānau Māori. So creating spaces where we can try to normalise money conversations amongst our whānau is really, really important. And then, some of the feedback we have been receiving has been just really brilliant and really good for us as a banking space. As it's no secret that a lot of our whānau or our communities don't have a lot of trust in our banks. And so this is an avenue for us to try and build that trust with our whānau. And so we're grateful for the opportunity to partner with Te Rahunga Ora and through the Sorted brand to help support that kaupapa for us.
Can I jump in with a question, which is, I'm paraphrasing from Slido. Could you deliver the program online? Is Zoom an okay way of doing it?
Yeah, it is something we've spoken about. One of the Māori principles is kanohi ki te kanohi, so that face-to-face piece is really critical. But then we have sort of spoken about how, just the timing, being able to take a whole day out of your life, especially when you have tamariki, whānau, and it might be difficult for you to get to a particular one in a place in person, then creating sort of perhaps that online option as well for those whānau, I think, could work.
Great.
If you were going to do that, you'd almost have to divvy it up into 2 separate days. I don't think you could have the whole day on Zoom on something like this. It'd be, I don't know, I turn off after Zoom after about 10 minutes. So.
Yeah, understood. People want to know how it's funded. How was the program funded?
So it's funded from NZBA. So Tāwhia sort of sits separately from the NZBA. It's its own independent entity that NZBA supports and assists to achieve its PO. But we do have money that we have set aside for funding this. We had it for the trial period for the last financial year, and we've got that rolled over for this financial year for now.
Great. Yes. And I'm going to ask this question. How can non-Māori contribute to this space without overstepping and being respectful?
Kia ora. So this is my view. So the by Māori, for Māori approach is not necessarily a hard and fast rule in my view. I think the most important thing, because to be honest, actually I know some non-Māori who are more Māori than Māori, if that makes sense. And so, for those individuals in particular who have some level of cultural intelligence or cultural competency, then nau mai, haere mai. We definitely welcome those of you who know how to connect, and that's the key thing. You know how to connect well with our whānau, and you also speak language or use language that can also connect with our whānau. So real simple stuff, not too much, sort of jargon and banky stuff.
We are out of time, but I still want to ask this question, if I may. The content looked amazing, and nothing better than financial education in the way that works best for the people who need it. What was your standout moment? And if I can ask both of you for one of those. No pressure.
I mean, for me, I'll jump in because it was I think it was the first one. It was in Tairāwhiti in Gisborne when we had a couple of the bankers, and Tawa was one of them involved. When we first did that, we had breakout sessions, and we had one of the breakout sessions was, borrowing from your bank, and it was it was just watching the participants. They were so focused and paid so much attention to listening to these Māori bankers in front of them, telling them the process they needed to go through. And it just, for me, it was just like, this is definitely working. So I thought that was really cool.
Same session actually, so the one in Te Tairāwhiti. So my mum come along last minute, and I was quite nervous about that, to be honest. So I live in Hamilton, flew down to stay with mum in Gizzy. She lives in Gisborne. And I told her while I was there, she said to me then, I'll come along too, son. And I was like, oh, damn, no. Very nervous because my mum's a very straight up woman, a very staunch Māori woman who's always at the front line of a Māori protest type of woman. And she doesn't hold back. And she's not a big fan of banks, to be honest, either. So I was like, oh gosh, okay. I was a bit nervous about how this was going to go down. Midge knows her well as well. But at the end of the day, she told me that she absolutely loved it. And that's all the feedback I need to tell me that it is an effective program. Because mum is hard to please, I'll tell you that.
That's fantastic. Yeah, lovely. We are out of time. That was a fantastic presentation. Tawa, I just also want to know whether you are, is it Campbell-Seymour, any relation to David Seymour? Because I feel like this is a program that should be put in front of him to show him that actually ethnicity has a role to play in the things that we do, yeah? Yeah.
I agree. No, I'm not. But I agree.
I feel even more warmly towards you than I did. Massive round of applause, please, for Miles and Tawa. Thank you both. That's great. Thank you.